welcome to our pre-meet show for the 2021 Clovis Invitational. We're at Woodward Park here in Fresno, California. We're going to view some of the top teams, top coaches, and top individuals assembled here for the 42nd running of this state preview meet. The first team we're going to interview is Dublin High School. They're out of the North Coast section. Over the years, early on, it used to be southern section where all the power was. We've seen some tremendous programs from Northern California in recent years. We're talking about Jesuit from the Sacramento section with some of their all-time teams. Bellarmine Prep out of San Jose, the Central Coast section, also outstanding. But the North Coast section, it has been ruled by Dublin High School. Coach Chris Williams is one of our guests, along with his whole team here. We're going to have Coach go ahead and introduce us to his team. This year, just like in recent years, this is the signature program in the North Coast section and one of the heavy hitters in California in Division I for boys. First off, Coach, welcome here to Woodward Park in the 42nd Annual Clovis Invitational.
Thank you, Rich. Appreciate it.
First off, introduce your team.
All right, so we've got Shriver Mandeskar up here, Matthew Morgone, Daniel Trampy, Nathan Manesh, Adrian Tran, and I can't tell them apart when I have to look at it. So this is going to be Josh Turpin over here and Cole Turpin over here.
And you're hoping you're right.
I know. No, it was the other way around. So it should be that. So.
I'm Josh.
He's Josh, and that's cool.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Nothing like live to tape these here.
Yep.
First question. So a lot of teams come to Clovis, to Woodward Park, to get a preview of the state meet because of the pressure, because it's the course, and also, in a sense, it's where you find competition. Your school is a little bit different. You guys are in the best league in the state. The EBAL, the East Bay Athletic League, it's heavy hitters. There's no real patsies in this group. So you get a chance to address that type of pressure more often than most schools. Why is Clovis Invitational still important for you?
Well, I think that what you just mentioned about the E-ball, one of the things in the E-ball up in the North Coast is that we actually do avoid each other a little bit more during the regular season because we know how much of a pressure cooker it is at the end. We come down to Clovis, mainly like what you just mentioned. We want to get the competition. We very rarely get to travel to Southern California to race all the Southern California schools, and Division I traditionally has been dominated by the Southern section. And so Clovis gives us an opportunity to race a lot of the Southern section schools to do that. But we also know that, you know, traditionally, you mentioned Jesuit. We know traditionally Jesuit always comes here. It's great that Bellarmine's finally making the trip down here for this race, but this is probably as close to a deep of a field as we can get as far as Division I is concerned as the state meet. I mean, we have every Division I school, the top schools here, maybe with the exception of Loyola here, but with Hart and Division II going to be kind of in there, so it's pretty much as close to the state meet as we can possibly find as far as that depth of competition and on the same course as the state meet.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to ask you first, and then some of your runners here at first. Right now, one of the big things, obviously, is Newbury Park and how dominant they are. What is the approach, Dublin, as far as this weekend? What is the big goal?
We want to get sucked into the vortex. I mean, I think that honestly, like we want to be a part of that competition. I mean, we've talked a little bit with our guys about the fact that this could possibly be the fastest race in the history. You know, and it's like, and they get excited about that and kind of be in that moment. And excited about that. And I think that, I don't think that we're necessarily like being intimidated or scared to race Newbury Park. I mean, we wanted to get out and run. We wanted to get out and push it. And that's always exciting for us to get in a race like that because we don't have those Woodbridge type courses in Northern California where we can get these fast starts and get these fast races in. With them being in this race, it's going to provide that opportunity for our guys to really get sucked into that and really get excited. And also, state meet, over the years, you always try to figure out a course or a race that's going to kind of simulate the state meet. State meet in Division I in California is like no other race in the country. It gets out super hard. And what better way to prepare for that, for having a race against a Newbury Park type team to where they're going to suck you kind of into that and draw you in it. And we've talked about our guys, like, hopefully we'll all get excited and be in the moment and get out and run. That's kind of what we want. I mean, we're excited about them being in this race and kind of pulling us all through.
Show of hands real quick. How many of you guys have already run this course before in competition? 6 of the 7? 5 of the 7. Okay. Anyone here, whoever wants to answer this, what is the best part of this course? What do you guys like the most about it?
I guess I can answer that. I'd say the best thing about this course is that, like the gun goes off and you're just like, pandemonium going down that like grass field, you don't even realize how fast you're running. And then you come through that mile mark, like when I was running here as a freshman, I PR'd in the 3 mile course. And I just remember coming through and I was just like, I was scared, but I was excited. And then, you know, you realize, you know, you got 2 more miles, and you know, you just realize how much you can hurt on this course, because this course is not forgiving. You know, you go up that hill, you have the rolling hills going down, and then you have the rolling hills coming back. It's just, you know, you just see how hard you can push yourself, and that's why I think this course is really good for us.
You mentioned the first time out. In the first mile, you actually set your PR, your mile PR, in the first mile of a 5K, 3.1 mile race.
Yeah.
Since that time, what have you learned most about this course? How have you adapted? How have you changed your approach, if at all?
Well, I think kind of like we're just trying to execute our race strategy. Our team usually likes to hit the second mile pretty hard, so I'm not saying that we're gonna back down from the first mile. You know, we still want to get out that first mile pretty hard, so I'm not necessarily saying that we're trying to adapt it, but when we come through that first mile, we just want to, you know, hit the gas, you know, get through that second mile pretty hard, and then, you know, just see how hard we can go the last mile.
Coach Williams, is there a preferred way you like your kids to attack this course strategically?
I do like the second mile. I think that a lot of people, you know, on this course, and I think that a lot of coaches talk about this a lot. You know, the first mile is everybody's really excited. The last mile, everybody's coming home. So I think that we really, I don't know if it's a strategy. We just want to make sure that we're focused in the second mile. We want to make sure that we lock in. We don't let, if we're in a group, we're not letting anybody get away from us, but we're also trying to move guys up. And especially now in the depth of the field, as being as deep as it is, it's nice in the second mile that you can grab groups of guys on the second mile. And I think that that's important that we pay attention to that. And on the flip side, you don't want groups of guys to be passing you along, because you can give up 20 to 30 spots, you know, in the second mile. So we talk a lot about that, just making sure that, again, it's not necessarily a strategy so much as it's maintain the focus on the second mile.
So let me ask you this, either for yourself or for anyone on the team here. You mentioned the fact of that trap in the first mile of teams going out so fast. So you focus on mile 2. What do you tell them about the first mile in terms of how to handle it? What specifically, whether keywords or what have you, how do you guys approach that first mile now? Given the fact that your program has mastered this course, you guys have the NCS record, one of the top times all time on this course, you know how to run it. What's the best way to avoid the problems of the fast first mile?
I think just in preparation throughout the year going into it. I think that, you know, running in races, that we work on fast starts. We do a workout where we will try to run, like we'll run a mile pretty much, not to say all out, but we run pretty hard. Then 4 or 5 minutes later, we're coming back doing a 2.5 mile tempo run after that. So we get used to kind of getting out there and getting uncomfortable. We want them uncomfortable to know what that feels like. A lot of I think that since we have been as good as we've been in the last few years, that most of the time we've got a lot of juniors and seniors running. So we don't have a lot of freshman, sophomore guys on the varsity races, so they kind of know what to expect with that. And we talk about adjusting a lot. I mean, I think that we talk, you know, about adjusting the paces and, you know, try to throw that at them, and they mentally understand kind of what that means. You know, and we do that in workouts, and we do that in the races. Like we ran the race last week at Amanda Garcia. It's a flat as a pancake, it's lightning quick, and but you got to get out, and so that helps us get geared up for what we're about to you know, anticipate tomorrow. So,
anyone on this in this team, this is their favorite course by chance? Anybody? Why is that?
Just because the field is very deep, and so I can always be reliant on like the people around me to pull me through a fast time. And I think this is one of the only 5Ks we've run throughout the year.
Yeah, definitely the reason why I like this course is because it's one of the only 5Ks, and it's a chance to see how fast you can run in this like level of depth. And in recent years, definitely like it's been one of my favorite courses because of how many turns there are, and the hill and the environment and all of that combined. It's just a wonderful course.
So cross country, there's definitely a definitely strong bond among team members. You guys are fighting there on race day, you know, kind of a axiom is people go ahead and basically spill blood for their teammates. I think one of you actually did. Is that Morgan, correct? What's the story?
Before a 1600 race, I had a small problem where I hit my head, and there was a little bit of blood. I was able to make it back for my 800 race though, and I was really glad I was able to run that. But
What did you hit your head on?
It was just like a metal electric box. I was on the side of a fence.
That wired to race day.
And you took a trip actually between the races. Where did you go between the races?
The real story.
I went over to the, it was like the hospital or the, how it's called specifically, but yeah. I had to get some staples there.
Wow.
So.
Jesus. Spilling blood. I love it.
Yes.
This weekend, in addition, you mentioned you hopefully finishing second place, trying to get there behind Newbury Park. Any other specific goals for this year's team setting up for the state meet?
Well, kind of I don't know if it's a goal, but I know that for our team, being down here and being able to just be here is a goal. I mean, just the fact that we're able, it didn't get canceled. I mean, the fact that we've had, with everything that's happened over the last couple years, with the pandemic and everything, just the fact that we're able to be here as a team, travel on a bus, stay in a hotel, and actually, again, having it not get canceled last minute has been huge for us. And so I think that for us, I know that that's exciting for the kids and our program, and the goal is to kind of now not take those things for granted and make sure that we're taking advantage of the situation in front of us with that. And I think that just getting it. But as far as goals necessary, I at the end of the year we want to be a part of the greatest race in the history of Woodward Park as the state championship. I want to see kind of where when all the dust settles and after the first mile and the chips start to fall in place, and kind of see where we'll be able to stack up in the history of this course, and and not just in NCS history but overall, and see kind of where it's going to lie. And I know that we're really excited about that. So yeah.
Chris, one more question for you. The fact that Dublin's had success for quite a while, but the last few years, you guys have really raised your game to be a regional power, regional as far as Western U.S., if not some years also a national presence. So something has flipped the switch the last 4, 5, 6 years. What's the story behind that?
I really think it's been the kids buying in. I think you hear a lot of programs. I hear a lot of interviews like Newbury Park or Great Oak, and the kids really making the sacrifices. To get better and to hold each other accountable. That's been a big deal. For us, and I think that's I can't speak for every team's been different. But I can tell you that looking back, you start to look at I think a lot of teams see the tradition of their teams, and we had a senior one of our captains came back this summer. He was going to study abroad, came back and helped us out of practice. But but him setting the foundation, 6-7 years ago, and then kind of trickling out. I think that a lot of it's just the kids really buying in. And I use an expression about drinking the Kool-Aid, but the kids drink the Kool-Aid. They believe what we do, and whether it works or not, I don't know. But I know that they believe in what we do, and that's helped with the success of the program, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Also, the Dublin Distance Fiesta meet that you put on in the springtime for track and field, it is the go-to meet, especially in Northern California, for distance fun. It's a great atmosphere. You guys all run track and field, correct? All of you?
Yeah.
I've got a question for all of you. You guys all spend some time on YouTube watching videos, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Question for you. Is 4:20 fast for a mile or not fast?
Not anymore. Not fast anymore.
Outstanding. Hey guys, have fun this weekend. It should be a great race. The championship race is going to be a big highlight. Once again, this tomorrow morning, 24 teams, 19 of which are state ranked, including Dublin High School. It should be a barn burner tomorrow here at the 42nd annual Clovis Invitational. Is the girls squad from Quintana High School in Temecula, California. Southern section, this group has won 8 California State Division I titles. Great Oak, led by first-year head coach Tammy Drawn, along with 9 individuals here, a very deep team, going ahead and trying to figure out who those top 7 spots are in the program. First off, welcome to the course. How many girls here, with a show of hands, this is your first time racing on this course? Wow, okay. All right, so got some veterans here in a sense. First off, Tammy, a lot going on this very first year, trying to do some coaching in the middle of this whole getting out of COVID in a sense. So far, how have things gone with the girls program?
The girls are fantastic. They're very talented. The program is really deep. We have had a hard time figuring out who the top 7 are. As a matter of fact, we're still working on it. And that's why you see 9 girls here. I really honestly could have put any of the 9 of them in the top 7, and we would have had a fantastic race tomorrow. So in a sense, tomorrow's race, whether it's the first race of the day or a race later in the day, those are important races for our program, important opportunities for these girls to prove, not to me and not to you or not to anyone else, but to prove to themselves who they are as racers.
If we can, one by one, can I have you give me your name, your grade, and for those of you who raced here before, what is the favorite part of this course for each of you? Okay.
Okay, I'm Kelly Gaffney. I'm a junior this year, and my favorite part of the course is the hill, like about midway through, because I know after once you conquer that hill, it's kind of easy from there.
Okay.
I'm Milani Castillo, junior, and I'd say just the scenery in general, because all the ponds specifically, they're really good indicators on where you are in the race, and they just let you know how much more you have to go.
So you don't like the flat pavement courses?
That too.
Hi, I'm Hannah Miller. I'm a junior, and my favorite part of the course is the final stretch, like coming through the trees, because you know that you're almost done and you can see all your teammates cheering you on.
I'm Kaylin Osborne, and I'm a junior, and my favorite part of the race is probably the last mile, because that's when you kind of bring it in and like try to pass people and kick at the very end.
My name is Joel Upshur. I'm a junior, and my favorite part of the course are the hills, because it's a good challenge that comes with a reward after it.
My name's Ashley Fabian. I'm also a junior, and my favorite part of the course definitely has to be the hills as well, because once you get up it, you have that nice downhill.
I'm Amaya Telly. I'm a junior, and my favorite part is also the last mile, because I know I'm in pain after the first 2 miles, but I just want to finish it and do good for my team.
My name is Divine Torza. I'm a senior, and my favorite part has to be the finish, because you're just done with the race and you could either accomplish your goals, which is amazing, and just see the improvement that you've been working towards.
Okay. Tammy, as a runner, your first time, I'm assuming, ever at this park?
It is.
You just got here, so you haven't had a chance to go do the course yet, or you haven't?
Just a little bit, but I have to tell you, driving in, the first thing I said to my husband was, I'm so excited. This is a real cross-country course. This looks like what cross-country should look like. So to me, that's part of the excitement for tomorrow, part of the fact that they're on a legitimate course, doing a race that should really test their ability to run in all of its facets. It's not just a flat, fast course, which our runners can do well, but they're prepared to do well on things that are more challenging than that.
Quick question, a bit of a segue here. Are you surprised so far the first month of the season or month and a half as to how flat some of the other courses were? Because you mentioned this is real cross country. Kind of surprised that some of these were, you know.
I was really surprised, actually. So Woodbridge to me was, I don't know if ridiculously is a good word or not, but it was ridiculously fast. It was ridiculously flat. It just didn't, it was fantastic. It was a great race, but to me it didn't feel like a cross-country course. This is what I envision them running as cross-country. This is what it feels like we're training for every day. Even if we are running around courses that, sometimes also feel like those flat paths.
Right, definitely. So I know you're still learning this course in a sense, either from what you've read or what you've heard. Coming in, what are your general thoughts as to what might be the key on how to run this course well?
Well, we had a long talk about this actually last night. So our runners know how I feel about what they need to be doing in the course. So I think it's all about their placement. It's all about their initial placement, running their race, not running somebody else's pace as they start the race. And then how they handle that second mile is a big deal. And then what do they do with where they've ended up in that second mile when they get to the third mile? And what's their mental focus? Are they handling the mental focus in a way that will help them finish for their team, or have they allowed their mental focus to break down? So I don't want to give away any trade secrets, but beyond that, we've had extensive conversation about specifically what should be happening in each of those miles of the course and how they should be running it to run it fast.
It sounds like there's definitely been some skull sessions already in a sense. Tonight, pre-meet, what's the approach? Are you talking, what is the approach? And gentlemen, let me go at that. How do you want to answer that? What's the approach for tonight? What's the objective tonight?
I think it's a little different for different groups of runners. I think it's a little different for our boys compared to our girls. And what I would want our girls to do tonight is to really focus on their mental. Really focus on their mental outlook, because they are phenomenal runners. And they just have to believe they're phenomenal runners. When they start at tomorrow morning, they have to, whatever time they're starting, they just have to remember and believe that they are as phenomenal as everybody says they are. They have to believe it in their own head and their own heart. And as soon as they do, I think we're going to see some pretty amazing times come from them.
All right. Okay, so tomorrow, the Bill Buhner Girls Championship race at 8:55 a.m. One of the featured teams, Great Oak, the Wolfpack, out of Temecula, California. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for our live webcast of the championship races and all the races, beginning with our first race, I believe, at 7:30 a.m. Again, the Girls Championship, 8:55 a.m. Effort between HD Runners and Prep Cal Track. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Welcome to Woodward Park here in Fresno, California for the 2021 Clovis Cross Country Invitational. Our pre-meet show. Our next group is West Torrance High School. One of the great things about the Clovis Invitational is there's a championship race which brings together squads from across all divisions. So if you're a Division II or Division III school, you get a chance to face Division I, vice versa. So this is the very best of the best. Tomorrow in the championship boys race, there are 24 teams entered, 19 of which are ranked in the top 10 in the state within their division. West Torrance is number 1 in Division III. We have Coach Jason Druten, Kirsten Green, and a few members of our West Torrance team from this year. First off, how excited are you guys about this weekend?
I'm real excited. It's super fun.
Mount Sac is a great meet. It's by division. In rare occasions, you get a chance to move over to Saturday and so forth. Right here, you have a chance to go head on, the best of the best. For a program that in recent years has really risen its game, how special is an opportunity like this for you guys?
Yeah, that's why we're here, to be honest. We plan to be back here obviously in November, right? That's what we're all hoping. And hopefully this is a faster race, better competition than considering that you have the Division I, Division II, and we really just want to see where we stack up. You know, this will put us in a chance where we're going to get pushed, and we know we're not beating some teams. We understand that. But at the same time, when push comes to shove, we want to know if we can push back a little bit.
Let me ask Connor Gibson. I know in the Cool Breeze Invitational, you came out seemingly conservative, really rolled over that final mile and closed really well, one of the top finishers. Let me ask you this. Having an opportunity to go ahead and face top teams from all divisions, as an elite runner, how do you feel about that?
It's a lot of fun, you know, especially at Woodbridge. I got to see some of the guys, and I think I'm going to see a little bit more of the competition, especially in D3, Northern California. So get and see where I stack up against the individual competition and see how, you know, good I could push my team behind me.
Jason, I'm going to ask you to put you on the spot a little bit. The thing that I'm really impressed most about this program, it seems like each year the kids are very wired in on thinking very big, regardless of what you return. So those seeds are planted early.
Yeah.
What's the approach and where did that come from?
God, it really happened. When the first time we made state, we just wanted to make state. And so once we got there, all of a sudden, then your goals just got a little bit higher. So it's kind of funny, at the Woodbridge, I think Newbury Park was handing out 420 mile isn't fast or something like that, right? And we've always thought, like, when the freshmen come in, we tell them what fast is. And we think what our fast is, we've raised it up that we expect kids to hit that. It's not like, oh, see what you can do. No, we expect you to run this fast. So none of these guys were fast. These guys were terrible when they started. I mean, terrible. Honestly, if I look around here, this guy right here was the only fast guy. Like, out of my top 5 freshmen, when we started in the summer, none of these guys were on that, right? But we just keep grinding and grinding, and the guys in front of us have just kind of showed everybody what they expect to do. So they've never seen slow. These guys have never seen slow runners, so they expect to be this fast, and that's just kind of what happened.
For those of you, Coach mentioned, since he had one fast freshman, for those of you that didn't start out fast, can you give me an example of what it's been like? I mean, how does it feel like to be part of a program that develops strongly over the season? Anybody want to go ahead and answer that question as to how cool that feels?
Sure, I'll take that one. I mean, being part of a team that's like as elite as West Torrance is great because you can always look up at your varsity runners and know, like, that's greatness, that's fast, that's what I want to be one day. And so you can just go out there every single day believing that the program works because you can look at the results over the years, see how people got faster and faster, and know that if you put the work in and you come out and grind and support your teammates and be perfect every single day that you can be perfect, you can just be great. And so coming out and being with my team, like, that's just how you get good.
Kirsten, as far as, do you, assistant coach, do you sense, is the approach this weekend any different in terms of how excited the kids are, how the focus is, anything unique about Clovis weekend?
Well, we definitely, after coming back from Portland, we decided we were going to take a bit of a down week, and that's just as much psychological as it is physical. So backed off a little bit, but psychologically, the mood last week was very playful and fun, and we just rolled with that as coaches. Going into this week, it became business. So even on the ride up here, we talked about this is business. This is a business trip. Portland was a little bit more of a field trip, fun, team bonding. This is a turn and burn business trip that we expect to come out and get back to those expectations. The expectations are always high, and you know, the better you are, those expectations just get higher and higher. So these boys have been watching over the last 4 years, and that bar just keeps going up and up.
A turn and burn business trip, I love it. And I kind of mentioned that's a key with this program as far as the focus. The other day we were chatting in the evening by text message, and we were talking about, I believe it's called Perfect 30.
Perfect 30.
Where, and we'll go ahead and share a bit of a visual on that, but there's a bit of a, for lack of a better, how would you describe it and what's the story behind it? But definitely it's something that's used to get these kids focused in on being your best at the end.
100%, and like Hayden said about, we want to try to be perfect. So I was at a clinic, one of the Nike ones, and they, the Oregon coaches were talking about they have a perfect 60, or they get 60 days before the finals, they try to do everything perfect. And I thought, that's great, but I thought, no way a high school kid could do that. So we got together and we figured out, how can we do 30 days perfect, and how can we track it? We wanted to see a visual every day where they had to come in front of us to show us that they did everything they were supposed to do. And so Coach Green came up with this board, and she just put some nails in, and they get a washer.
And I built the board.
Yeah, she built it.
Right.
So it's a green washer and a red washer, and you've got to put up there every day. Were you perfect the night before? And perfect for us is, our number one is sleep. All these kids take AP classes, and you're here, I can't get to bed before midnight, but you can. If you really honestly want to do what you want to do in this sport, you have to sleep. So we have sleeping, you have to give up junk food, no soda, and nothing. And so we start off the first day, and there's a lot of red up there. The kids aren't going to bed, they're still eating bad, and as you gradually go, it's like water and grass. It just keeps turning greener and greener and greener. And they say it takes 21 to 30 days to create a habit, so hopefully the younger kids, the season will end in 30 days, and these kids have about 30 days after that, so now it's habit, so somehow we're sneaking in and getting the 60 days without them even knowing it.
So this visual, you have a nail for each kid in the program, and either a green washer or a red washer. A red, you came up short in one of those areas for that day. Yes. A green, you came through.
And
so,
it's not just it's the sleep and the eating, but you've got to be hydrated. We talk about you have to actually do the workout for the day, whatever the prescribed workout was. So, you know, those kids that are sitting on the side, when we all head out the gate, they automatically have to throw up that red washer, because whether it's didn't feel good or think they're injured or maybe are injured, that they can't be perfect because they're not out doing what they need to do on that day to take care of business. So.
And they have to do it in front of all their teammates, which puts a little bit. People will say that kids don't care a lot of times, but these kids want it. These kids over here want these kids. They want their respect.
Right.
So when you put up a red washer and they look at you like, why is it red? And you get questioned by your teammates, there's some value in that.
And there's great conversation that comes out of it, you know, because it actually sits right there at the coach's shed where we're chilling after practice, right? And so they're putting the washer up, and you know, I'll call them out. Well, why is it red today? And it's interesting to see, is it the majority because it's sleep, or is it the eating? But then you can start to focus your coaching and your conversations about, well, what do these kids need? Do they need more information on how to eat healthy, or how can they possibly get their homework done faster and get into bed, or why didn't they have any water at school, or whatever the conversation needs to be.
So I'm a big believer that the very best teams, the ones that are truly successful, the championship teams, are the ones that have a focus. Clearly, this program has that kind of championship focus, and that's a great example right there. This is a question for anybody in the group. When you do something like that and you have the green washers and you start seeing this board turning more and more green or fully green, and you're getting into the biggest meets of the season, and you see everyone here is on board, everyone is accountable, everyone is doing their part. For you guys, how much more confident, how much more focused do you feel going to the big races when you know we've done what we need to do?
Go ahead, Matt, you take that one.
Okay, so you feel pretty confident because you know you've done everything you can do. So you just gotta be confident in your race and know you've done everything you can do to prepare for this race. So you just gotta be ready. And it's such a good feeling to see the team behind you, because you're not just running for yourself, you're running for the team. And it's a team sport. Not a lot of people think it is, but it's truly a team culture and a team sport. So it's really good.
It's those number 1 and 2 guys that get the headlines, but it's the 3, 4, and 5 that bring home the championships.
Yep.
Those are the guys that are so key. Let me ask you guys this. How many of you guys here in this group have run on this course before in competition?
All of us.
Everybody.
Yeah.
So one by one, I'd like you to go ahead and introduce yourselves, by name, maybe by year also, and tell me what is your most favorite part of this course. Connor, we'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Connor Gibson. I'd say my favorite part of this course is rounding this bend over here, coming up on the street, over the hill, right before you see that hill at like 1.5, and just hit that downhill, start passing people up the hill. That's my favorite part.
I'm Kai Smith. My favorite part would probably be the last straightaway, because that's like very fast, just going down there, just going all out.
Okay.
My name is Matthew Fry, senior. My favorite part has to be coming down right after the hill, just making that move right after, and yeah.
My name's Evan Gibson. I'm a senior. I think my favorite part is coming down here, like for the first stretch of the mile, and you just see everyone just cheering you on, and it just gives you an extra boost.
Very cool.
My name's Hayden Green. I'm a senior. I think my favorite part is right after you're coming up that big hill at the 1.5, and you go through that 2 mile, and you have like that nice long downhill, and you're going into the last mile, and there's people there, and it just feels so exhilarating because you know, like, I did it. I did the hardest part of the race. I can finish this now.
My name is Yudai Shimizu, and I'm a junior, and my favorite part of the course is probably near the end on the straightaway. You can just see the finish line, and you just push to the end.
All right. So Jason Druten, head coach, question for you. This is the state championship course, obviously, ever since the get-go in 1987. What do you tell your runners is the most important part of being successful on this course?
You have to understand that you're going to go out fast, no matter what. You can try to go out slow all you want, you're going out fast. You better be able to run that second mile. You better be able to, back there when there's nobody there and there's nobody looking, you better be able to sit there and figure out what you're going to do. And this is one of the few courses in the last 800, there's a lot of changing going on. You don't see it at a lot of races that I notice anyway. The last 800 here, there's people in November, people are switching in the last 800, so you have to be ready to go. In the 800, people aren't just settling now. It's the end of the year. They've got a minute left of their racing career, some of them, so you better be ready to go, and it's a lot of fun up here.
Okay. As far as this weekend goes, what are your thoughts? What's the goal? What are you trying to achieve and take away from this weekend, whether it be place-wise or anything else that gets you ready for the state meet come late November?
One thing is because we're going out there with the Newbury Parks, the Great Oaks, Hart, all those other teams, the Clovis schools, is that get out and run that first mile and just don't freak out when you come through it. 4:40 something. You can't freak out at that. And maybe we won't tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe we will. That's number one. Number two is just feel the pressure a little bit. Just accept it. You're going to be nervous. There's going to be pressure, and you better learn to deal with it because it's not going to go away. It's only going to intensify. So it's kind of like sparring. We're going to get hit a little bit today, and we're going to come back on a show that's not going to kill us. And we're hoping for, realistically, top 5 tomorrow is where I would like to be. You know, closer to 3, but I don't know if that's possible. But top 5 is where I think it's realistic.
So we'll see if we provide any bulletin board material for the rest of the division.
Give it to them, baby. I'm not afraid. Give it to them. I'm not running.
How do you see Division 3? Typical Jason Dritten. How do you see Division 3 sizing up right now for postseason? What do you see out there?
Listen, I've been ranked number 1 so many times and haven't been up there and got the number 1 finish. These rankings, I tell these guys all the time, you know, kids get caught up in it. I was like, man, it doesn't mean anything. I've been ranked number 1 coming into the state meet 4 times. I don't have anything to show for it. And then finally it happened, right? So they're good teams. I mean, if you're ranked in the top 10 in Division 2, 1, 2, 3, you're a good team.
Right.
Right? And like you said, you need 5 guys. I finished one time. I think we finished. I didn't run. I put in the state meet, I think I had 3 in the top 8 scoring, and we took 3rd. So, yeah, you think like these guys here that run up front are going to do it, but we all know it's the 5th guy. In these bigger races, that's a lot of points back there. So, will our 5th guy have a good day that day? Will their 5th guy have an outstanding day? That's why you come out here, right? If it was rankings, I mean, well, all right, that's not fun. But we appreciate you, but we got to come out here and we're ready to do it.
Last question for anyone in the group here. Obviously, the last couple of years has been pretty rough with COVID and all it's been taken away. We're now back at it. There's still some precautions obviously going on, but we're out here racing again in big races like tomorrow. How good does it feel to be back, so to speak, and getting those big chances and getting the big meets and getting the big showdowns?
Oh, it's so fun. You know, if someone asks me, will I like XC or track better, I always tell them XC. It's because of the environment. There's so many people here, so many people at the finish, you know, outside just at the race, especially here at Woodbridge. And it's so nice to have just a bunch of people just cheering and racing and just having a good time, you know?
All right, anything else?
I think it's like exhilarating as well because I look around and I see a lot of guys and I know all these guys were grinding through quarantine with us and we're trying to go out of state for meets and we were trying to make it pay off, but now is really when it's starting to pay off, all that grinding, all that hard work we did, and it's so great to just step on the course and know I put the work in, I did the grind time, and now I can show like the fruits of my labor.
So it's said a lot that we shouldn't take things for granted because it's going to be taken away, as we saw the last year and a half. Again, the thing I see about West Torrance is the fact that the kind of focus you guys have is always, from the outside looking in, so inspirational. Because I see you guys, regardless of what returns, you guys progressing nicely with that focus. So tomorrow, the rest of the season, don't take it for granted. Really enjoy it out there and fight for each other. And be successful and have fun.
That's it. It's going to be fun.
All right.
Rule number 1, have fun, baby.
There we go.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Thank you very much. West Torrance High School. Our pre-meet show for the 2021 Clovis Asics Invitational, featuring the top teams from across the Golden State. The girls race, championship race, Bill Buhner championship race going off at 8:55 a.m. This features 25 teams on the line, 16 of which are ranked in the top 10 in the state in their respective division. Our next group, Newbury Park's girls program, ended up doing very well at the Woodbridge Classic. Our Woodbridge team champions, Coach Sean Brosnan, Tanya Brosnan, and our varsity girls for this weekend. We saw a great performance a couple weeks ago at Woodbridge. What can we expect for this weekend?
Go after the win. I mean, we want to get the win first, and possibly go down to that course record, see how fast everyone could run. But yeah, they have big goals tomorrow.
So everyone has known nationally with the boys' success in recent years. And if you look closely, you can see the girls program getting much, much better year over year. And then, of course, on the national stage in the spotlight, they did very well, beating Louisville, Flower Mound of Texas, and Buchanan in that great Woodbridge showdown. This weekend is a rematch, in a sense, against Buchanan, which is a reigning California Division I champions. What's the mood like? How much excitement? Is there some nerves?
Yeah, there's definitely some excitement and some nerves. We're looking forward to it. We're ready to go for the win again. We know that this is Buchanan's home course, so they have that advantage. But we're ready. We're prepared. We've been here, and I think that they've put in a lot of hard work.
After the success at Woodbridge a few weeks back, on this one, the target is now, in a sense, in the eyes of some, on your backs. How has training been since Woodbridge? What's the confidence level like going into this pretty, unique challenge, so to speak?
We've been putting a lot more work in. I mean, I know, we've all just been training really hard and knowing that this is Buchanan's home course, like Tony was saying, and we're just gonna have to really go after it tomorrow and just do our best, put it all in there, and we're all working really hard, just hoping to get that win tomorrow.
A quick show of hands, how many girls are running on this course, racing for the first time on this course? You give that 3 of them? 3 girls. If you can, introduce yourselves one by one. And for those of you who've run this course before, if you can share, what is your favorite part of the course?
My name is Danielle Brocky, and I'm a 10th grader.
My name is Tiffany Sachs, and I'm a freshman.
My name is Morgan Nygren, and I'm a senior.
I'm Nora Leto, and I'm a sophomore.
Okay, in terms of this course, what's your favorite part of the course for those of you who have experience on this course?
I would say my favorite part is probably the downhill that's like right before that first big hill. That's like right when you get to the top of where that like rock is, that big downhill right there. I love just being able to kind of release and just get some momentum going up into that big hill.
I'm Lexi, I'm a senior. Personally, I like the first 800. You just go out, you have the nerves, you have the excitement, and just that first 800, you got the adrenaline going, and after that, you can just really get into it, and that's my favorite part, so just the first 800 meters.
Mine, I'd have to say, is probably a mile to go, because everyone's there, and that's like when you kind of have to start picking it up and start picking off people, and you're close to the end.
In terms of this course and the challenge this weekend, we talked about basically a showdown between Buchanan. There's a few good programs in here. How important is this race this weekend relative to the state meet? Is this strictly just a dress rehearsal, or is there a key goal we're trying to take away from this weekend as a varsity unit?
I think the girls this weekend, it's similar to the guys. Like they need to hurt on this course. They need to know what it feels like at the second mile, when it gets tough in the hills, and run a course like this, not a flatter course like most people think Southern California is. I think that's the main goal. And obviously I want them to run a course PR for the girls who've run it, but I mean, the state needs the ultimate goal, of course. I mean, we'd rather win that one than this one, but this is, we want to win this, but we want to win more, by more than what people think we could, I mean, I think we have a lot more in the tank, and I'm sure the other teams think the same thing. We have a few missing pieces in the past. The training, even though it's only been a couple weeks, but the training has been so great after Woodbridge that I've never seen my girls run like this before. It's been unbelievable. I think we're at another level, and where I think they could see some good things. They're on the same trajectory as the guys. We have 4 weeks to rest after this. Well, not rest, but train in a good block, and then we start all of our postseason league and prelims, finals, and then we're back here at the state meet. So the ultimate goal is, learn how to hurt on this course and go out there and don't be scared to do it,
There are very few schools nationally that truly have high-level success in both genders. It's a very tough feat to pull off. We're seeing this program do that. Maybe I'll ask Sam as one of the veterans on this team. And unlike sometimes the elite runners have elite backgrounds before high school, you did it the hard way. You put that work in, and you've seen that improvement in high school. When is the first time in your mind the light went on that the girls program can truly do something special on a national scale?
I think it was Cool Breeze in 2019. That was the first time that we had really gone against like more top teams over in the state, and we were actually able to like compete with them and be in the race with them. And I think that was kind of what made me think, okay, we're just going to keep getting better from here and just continue to take off. And yeah, I mean that's what we've been doing. So
maybe the last question, in terms of preparation, how much of the preparation involves together the boys and the girls program, or how much of it is separate in terms of getting them locked in and ready?
It's the same. I mean, we're together. I mean, we're a small program, and contrary to what people believe, it's not by design. I mean, everyone that comes out for our team wants to be there, no matter what level they run. I mean, we only have 52 people on our team, boys and girls, but we're together most of the times. Workouts, we're together. We might do different things. You know, what's good for the guys isn't good for the girls, but we're there as a team, as one team. And I think, you know, right before we ran at Cool Breeze this year in 2021, the first thing I said to the girls was, get out of the guy's shadow. You're your own team. When you're out on the course, we want recognition for the girls that they deserve, not just because the boys. We don't want them to say, oh, the Newbury Park boys. I want people to say the Newbury Park girls are here, and I think they're starting to say that. And I think, you know, after this weekend and the state meet, and as we go on with this season, I think they're going to continue to say that. That's the goal, you know. And I think having the guys and seeing their success, win the state meet in 18, win the state meet in 19, win the national championship, and I think, and they can answer this, but I think it made them want to be a part of that and you know, experience that success.
All right, so once again, tomorrow the girls' championship race, 8:55 a.m. A great showdown rematch between Newbury Park and Buchanan. Both squads with the mindset the best is yet to come. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the live webcast. Welcome to Woodward Park here in Fresno, California for the 2021 Clovis Invitational, our pre-race show, a collaborative effort between HD Runners and Prep Cal Track. Our next guest is our meet director for the Clovis Invitational, Eloy Quintana. This is his third year as meet director, but in many ways he'll say it's his first one. 2 years ago, he had food poisoning on that weekend. Last year, obviously, Clovis wiped out everything. So this year, he's probably a little bit more stressed, definitely more busy. First off, how excited are you that the meet is finally happening?
It's very exciting. I mean, like you said, you know, last year everything being wiped out because of COVID, and, you know, as a coach and as a meet director, you have to play as, you know, you didn't get to really get to coach the kids. You had to play a psychologist. Tell the kids that everything's going to be okay. We're going to get back to normal. So in reality, you really didn't know when. But to finally be here and to see the whole setup and see all the runners and everyone that's here and whatnot, and then to see such great weather and clean air, thank goodness, it's a great feeling. It's fun. It's great. I can't wait to see how fast the kids run tomorrow.
Eloy, in California, we're fortunate. We have a number of great invitationals. Two of the biggest and the best, of course, every year. The Woodbridge Classic, which is quite a production. The Mount Sac Invitational, also a huge production. The Clovis Invitational is very unique because it brings together, like those two, a lot of talent, but it's on the state meet course. These teams have a chance to get on here for a dress rehearsal, so to speak, but also go head-to-head across divisions. So this is, for many coaches, the most important meet on the calendar. How cool is it to go ahead and be the director of that meet and to have it right here in your backyard at Woodward Park?
No pressure, right? No, it's really cool to have it here in their backyard and to be able to host such a prestigious invitation that's been going on now for, 42 years. So just great to see such great competition, especially like you said, the state of California is huge. And we really don't have to travel very far at all to find the best competition. I mean, we can drive 4 hours, 5 hours at the most to find the great competition. And for us, we're very lucky to have competition just within our own league. I mean, it's such a deep league when it comes to cross country and track. So to have to travel down the road and from our homes and to be here, it's a great blessing. And it's I can't wait for tomorrow to see how fast times are from these kids. And kind of this year being, we really don't have much data from the past, because of COVID. This is kind of really, you can say, no disrespect to anyone, but you can really say this is the first true measurement for teams to see are we really where we need to be, or do we need to make some improvements, some adjustments before we get to A, leagues or section finals or the state championships?
So let's take off your meet director hat for a minute. You know, at this point in time, I've seen that the spotlight is on this meet. Over the years, Rob Brenner, your predecessor, and then Bill Buettner both have done a great job in seeing this meet grow in size and especially in quality. But also, you're a coach this weekend, like your predecessors. As a coach, you got a pretty good strong team this year, 2 outstanding individuals, Chris Cadillo as well as Nathan Avila. What is the challenge? First off, what's the challenge for your team this weekend? What's the big goal? And how are you going to balance kind of having to be in charge of this and having to be in charge of your own team tomorrow?
Well, the cool thing about us in our cross-country staff and our track staff, we come together and, you know, we run this meet together. It's just not one staff and a couple volunteers. It's a team effort. I mean, like, you know, the saying goes, it takes a village. Well, it's a village. I mean, we have 20 parents and we have multiple different types of volunteers, alumni coming back to help out. We have our track staff, you know, Coach Jackson, Coach Schramm, Coach Eloy, everyone's pitching in. Even Coach, you know, Buettner's still here. He's back over there, you know, looking at some things and giving me a call, giving me advice. Hey, you may want to try this instead of this. Cool, let's do it. No biggie. So the supporting cast is amazing to run this meet. So that's why, yeah, it's a little stressful here and there, but not much, just because we have such a big number of people willing to help, from our parents to everyone else. So very lucky there. As a coach, you know, on meet day, you trust the people that are here to help. I mean, you can't be a helicopter meet director and try to police everyone and do everything. One of the things a lot of great wise teachers and coaches in the past have taught me, and even, you know, me working at other jobs, they're like, hey, you've been hired to do a job, we trust you. You know, you do it the way that you think fits best. As long as the job gets done, you're good. Same thing here. You know, I mean, people will willing to volunteer. You just tell them what you're looking for, and they do it to their best of capabilities. And then on meet, like I said, that happens on meet day. I go off and take care of my team, make sure they're really prepared, ready to roll, to compete, and do their very best. So very lucky to have that kind of situation where I don't have to, you know, 1 minute have that hat on, a meet director, then have to run back and take that off and put coach on, and then go back because you got to take care of a situation. For the most part, you do have a couple hours there during the meet day where you're just a coach, which is, it's awesome.
So previously coaching at Madero South High School, now at Clovis. So you've been in the area for quite a while as a coach. So you know this course very well. I mean, it's the course you guys use for your conference championship, the TRAC, the track. What do you feel is the most important part of this course to be successful on?
If I gave you that, then I'm giving away my game plan for my varsity boys and varsity girls.
Let's hear it.
Honestly, the most important thing is, I always tell my kids, you don't win the race the first mile, but you can lose it in the first mile. Sometimes kids get so jacked up, they're just excited. And I mean, more than ever probably this year, just because finally to be back here in somewhat of a normal setting and feeling, you know, to finally be back at the state championship course and things of that kind, kids are going to be jacked up, ready to go. And unfortunately, you're always going to have one of those kids that just takes off that first mile and sets a new mile PR in a 5K race, you know. And so you got to be very careful and kind of, you know, make sure, yes, you want to have high emotions, but you got to be smart about it. And then also you got to, you know, kind of make your moves in certain areas that, you know, you may not have all the fans and the crowd and the cheers and whatnot. You know, those are kind of no man's areas and whatnot. So if you make your moves there and don't fall asleep, you'll do really well. And then, I mean, whatever you gained throughout the course, you know, when you get to the second mile with Killer Hill or Bluff, whatever people want to call it, even some people call it Bambi, you just maintain what you gained. Because if you're trying to play catch up by then, it might be a little too late.
Okay. Let me ask you this: as far as, you know, going into the meet this weekend, obviously, as a host again, as meet director, you've got a loaded field in the championship races, including highlighted by the all-time team. Newbury Park's boys are jaw-dropping. What are your thoughts in seeing them? You know, you saw them over at Clovis, I mean, at that Newbury's Classic. What are your thoughts about seeing something like that?
Phenomenal. I mean, you don't see that every year, even in the state of California being such a deep state when it comes to our cross-country distance talent. To see a collective team to have that much talent and to do it the way they do it, it's kind of jaw-dropping at times, just because, you know, at Woodbridge, I believe I was at about 700, 600 meters to go, and they were right there, all four together, and then literally it's like they had another 2 gears, and they literally just dropped it, and I mean, they took off, and I was kind of like, wow. You know, this is impressive. I mean, I don't know who else can really challenge them throughout the state or nation right now, but very impressive, and a lot of credit to Coach Bronson and his staff for what they're doing over there.
Let me ask you this also. Being that you're from the area, the coaches that travel in, you know, for this meet this weekend, it is so important for them to get their kids on the course before the state meet, tomorrow obviously, but even today to get some familiarity. This is in your backyard. Your kids know this course already. So I'm curious, as a coach from the area, do your kids come out today for a pre-meet, or do you stay off the course? Yes or no? Are they out here today? And what are your thoughts on why you do or don't have them out here?
We don't have them out here just because they already know the course, and then also, you know, sometimes I do believe less is more. Sometimes when you bring them out here, they get too, like I said earlier, their emotions get all jacked up and they get all crazy, and then next thing you know, they get so mentally intense that they actually become fatigued. They become fatigued mentally, and when finally the gun goes off, they already, I hate, you know, no pun intended, but they shot themselves in the foot because they mentally just get tired from thinking about the course. So to me, less is more when it comes to being here the day before the meet. Just stay at home, we'll do our workout in the morning, go home, be kids. Just another day in the neighborhood, nothing, you know, to have to, you know, change your routine to.
Yeah, both yourself and a few of the top coaches from the area, a few of the additional top coaches, have that same philosophy in the sense of, you know what, there's no need to build the anxiety. Let's go ahead and race day is when we take care of business.
Exactly.
What's the big goal for you guys this weekend as a team?
On our girls' side, just to run our very best and get some good PRs and get some good performances that we can build off and go from there for our second half of the season and get into the championship season on a good note. On the boys' side is we want to break that top 10. We want to get into that top 10 and really show that we are, you know, that we're the real deal, because Woodbridge was really our biggest test as a team. And you know, it was one of those things like, all right, boys, let's see what we got here. You know, welcome to the big show, welcome to the big boys. And they did really well. And, you know, we made some tactical errors and mistakes here and there that we've been working on. And at Golden Eagle, we did really well as well. And I think tomorrow we're going to just come out and just go out there and compete and try our very best. And hopefully we crack the top 10 that I truly believe we can do it.
All right, Eloy Quintana, our meet director for the 42nd annual Clovis Invitational. Again, his team will be on the boys' side, will be competing in that championship race. One of the heavy hitters in that group, headlined, of course, by Newbury Park. Should be a great, great show. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the live webcast. With HD Runners and Prep Cal Track, I'm Rich Gonzalez. Our next guest, Great Oak High School out of Temecula in the southern section. Tammy Drawn is their first-year head coach, and we see some familiar faces here as well. Some of these have had older siblings compete at this course and succeed in both cross-country and track and field. First off, Coach Tammy Drawn. First year as coach, how many kids on this trip, and how excited are you to be part of your first Clovis Invitational?
We have 55 runners, boys and girls, and I don't know if I can adequately explain how excited I am about this race, about this trip. It signifies many things besides just the race itself. It's the first opportunity for the kids to go on an overnight trip, to be able to stay in a hotel before the meet, to have all of the things that were so normal 2 years ago that haven't been normal. And so for me, this is a return to normal racing for them and an opportunity to really show what they're made of as cross-country runners, and quite frankly, I'm just excited to see them shine tomorrow morning.
Excellent. So Great Oak High School have had a great tradition in cross-country and in track and field over the years. Obviously, a high-profile coaching change happened just recently. In your opinion, as the new head coach, what's been the most important thing, objective, that you want to try and plant the seed on with both the boys and the girls programs?
The fact that a coaching change doesn't change what hard work is and the benefits you get from hard work. So Coach Souls and I are friends, and we communicate quite often. one of the things that I investigated before becoming the coach, or before throwing my name in the hat, was simply how he coached and his philosophy, what his workouts were like. And as a runner myself, I agreed with his philosophy and his approach. So to me, that part wasn't hard. So the thing I always say to them is no junk workouts. Every workout should be hard. It should be something that's getting us closer to our goal of winning whichever race is up next, and of course the ultimate goal of winning state. So for me, that's the piece that has to be in common. It's always about hard work and enjoying the hard work and celebrating the victories that come because of the hard work.
So Great Oak, 6-time defending Division I state champions. A great tradition in a very, very tough state, year in and year out. How many guys here are running Woodward Park for the very first time? Just one. Okay. I'd like you to do, first off, introduce yourself by name and grade, and tell me what is your favorite part of the Woodward Park course.
All right, I'm Cameron Smith. I'm a senior this year, and my favorite part of the course is pretty much just, I like all the turns, all the hills. It just keeps me on my toes. It's something different, and I treat it as like an obstacle course. It's fun for me.
I like that approach. Okay.
I'm Brendan Will. I'm a senior, and probably my favorite course about this, or my favorite part about this course is just the hills and the variety of just the obstacles, and it changes up the strategy a little bit.
I'm Gabriel Rodriguez. I'm a sophomore. Favorite part probably is going to be the hills. See what I can do and see what my team can do. Catch everyone else. So.
All right.
I'm Mark Cortez. I'm a junior now, and I think my favorite part of the course would be mile 1, because honestly, I've been here many times before watching my brother and sister spectating, and I just remember so vividly how crazy and like exciting it was at mile 1 over by the tarps, because like it just got so wild over there as everyone just passing by, just the beginning of the race, and yeah.
I'm Austin Elkins. I'm a junior, and my favorite part about this course is just the hills throughout, because yes, you know, the hills might kill you, but you always have that downhill to keep you going and just keeps you motivated to just run a little bit faster. So.
My name's Carson Smith. I'm a senior, and my favorite part is the kick, because I think it's the most exciting. You can kind of see, it's always fun to like get places. All the people are watching, and it's very energetic. So, my favorite part.
My name is Ramses Cortez. I'm a junior, and my favorite part of the course is probably on the 2-mile mark, the top of the hill, not the hill itself, because just from there, I just know in my head it's time to get going, it's time to hold it, and it's probably just the most decisive part of the race.
It's really neat that each of you seems to have a different favorite part of the course all over this course. It's pretty neat. So this course being obviously the preview for the state meet, it's very, very important. A lot of success here over the years. What is the goal for this year's team as far as for tomorrow? Not so much for postseason just yet, but for tomorrow, as a group, as a coaching staff, what are you hoping to take away from this weekend? Who wants to tackle?
I think our overall goal is to just finish all together and see how close we can make that gap between all of us. So,
do you guys run as a pack by design this year, or is it just a case of, based on your abilities and your training, that's where things just to happen to fall into place?
I think it's kind of a combination of both, honestly. Because I mean, we have all the guys trained together, we got them running together, but also just the mentality that we have, and also just how it's been since Souls was here. Just, well, we're the Wolf Pack, so I mean, it's kind of been our thing, and then it works for us. Because I mean, the thing about us is that there never really has been just one like extremely fast runner who just always just dominates from us. It's always just like the pack moving up, and that's what's won us races. So I think just a big part of what you are.
I know from the outside looking in, you know, when this coaching change, you kind of wonder, okay, how are things going to change or continue and so forth. One thing that for me was really pretty fun to watch is the postings on social media. I kind of sensed a lot of togetherness, a lot of support, a lot of unity within the program, which was really, really gratifying to see. It was pretty awesome. You don't see that from a lot of programs in a sense where it just seemed very genuine, so that was really cool to witness. In terms of this weekend, how excited are you guys for this high-profile challenge?
I think we're all pretty excited. I mean, I think we all just want to go out there and just kind of show everyone, you know, that we were going to keep the tradition going and that we're still one of the best teams in the nation.
Let me ask you, you talk about traditions. Obviously, everyone is aware of the crazy, off-the-charts performances by Newbury Park, most notably at the Woodbridge Classic. Stunning up front. How, as a high-end runner, is that helpful to you in terms of motivation, inspiration, something to go after? What are your thoughts on competing against another elite team? How does that help you?
It helps us because we have fast people in our races, and we always just want to get up to that level and work to beat people because, I mean, winning is what we want to do. And I think rather than treat it as something that, you know, we're scared of and we're worried about Newbury Park, it's sort of an honor to compete with them and against them. And so it's something that I think is good for us to have in our races, something to go after. It's like a clear thing that we can chase and get up there with them.
If you can, one by one, be answer this question. If you could describe, preferably just in a word possibly, what Great Oaks program means to you personally. Who wants to tackle that? But I could, each of you, if you can, if you sum it up super quick, either in a sentence or preferably a word, what really sticks out?
Togetherness.
Probably family.
For me, it's a little bit about legacy because I've always been inspired by my brother and sister who once came here winning state championships, dominating with their team, and really excited for this year.
In one word, I'd say motivated.
Mine would be camaraderie. Mine would be trust, just because we got to trust in our ability and our training, and just got to leave the nerves behind and just take it out on the course.
And mine would probably just be hard work. That's what we base our training on, just putting our heads down and getting the work in, and that's how we can.
If I can, a show of hands, and I'm not quite sure. This year's seniors were 2 years ago in our last normal season, only sophomores. Juniors, obviously, only freshmen. How many of you, in your honest opinion, or show of hands, is this probably tomorrow, probably the biggest race you've been in your opinion? And if not, you don't need to raise your hand. I'm just curious. Wow, okay. Just about everybody raising their hand. Very cool. So, change in program, change in leadership. We're seeing a lot of good things so far. How do you feel about how things have come at this point, Tammy, from the start of the summer to where we're at now with the program?
I'm excited about all of it. Just listening to these guys say what they feel like the program is in a short number of words really made me happy. They're saying all the things that I think in my head, that I feel every time that we're at practice. I'm really proud of the amount of work that they've put in. And I knew it as soon as we started camp in Mammoth. I knew that this would be a group that would really gel, that would really want to work hard, that would really want to go after it. And particularly this group of boys, I would put them against anybody, any day, any race. They are committed and they really want it. So as a coach, you can't really get anything better. As a runner, you love running in general, for me, and then to work with kids who love running and who love competing and love winning, it doesn't get better than that.
Okay. When there was a coaching change, I've known Doug Souls for the longest time, and I was a little bit, curious. I said, how do you think it'll work out once the new coach was named? He has some very, very positive, very supportive comments to make about you personally as an individual. And once he said that, I knew, okay, this program's going to be in good hands. And I've seen that, very fortunately, thank goodness. It's all been definitely supported. You also, as a runner, have a very busy weekend. So in addition to Clovis Invitational, you have your own race, in a sense, at the tail end of the weekend, Boston Marathon. Looking forward to that as well.
I am, and I definitely don't want it to take away from the race tomorrow, but it'll be the 8th time I've run the Boston Marathon, and I'm excited to run it. It's the only time it will be run in October, so that's kind of a fun fact. And it'll be the first school year where I get to run 2 Bostons in the same year, because I'll run it again next April. So it's a privilege and an honor to be a coach. It's a privilege and an honor to be a runner. And anyone who has the opportunity to run tomorrow here at Clovis or in the Boston Marathon on Monday, it's all a privilege. And I think if we look at running as a privilege, if we look at racing as a privilege, then it changes how we approach what we do. Tomorrow morning is a privilege for these young men to race, and it's a privilege for them to represent Great Oak High School. It's a privilege for them to have the skills and the fantastic running prowess that they have. So they get to utilize that.
All right, it's Tammy Drawn, the head coach for Great Oak High School. The varsity boys team will compete tomorrow in the championship race. Park here in Fresno, California for the 2021 ASICS Clovis Invitational, the 42nd annual. This is a state preview meet, and unlike some of our meets of the past so far this year, this one's going to be heavy hitters coming from all divisions. We saw a great showdown over at the Woodbridge Classic last month. This one, even more talent, both team-wise and individually. The featured boys race, I believe it's at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow, featuring the top team in America, Newbury Park, and they have been doing some off-the-charts performances so far. We saw they destroyed over at Woodbridge. Now comes a new challenge on the state meet course. Championship boys race, 24 teams entered, 19 of them are ranked in the top 10 in the state in their respective division. Coach Sean Brosnan, along with his varsity 7 for tomorrow. We see one of the guys come back into action after being out early in the year. First off, how's the team coming this year, Sean? This season, this weekend?
No, it's going good. I mean, there's always bumps in the road, little illnesses here and there, people getting sick. I think it's that time of year, regardless of COVID. You know, people are getting their things, but you just got to deal with it, and we're ready to go. Workouts have been really good, right on pace to what we want and where we need to be for this time of the year. It's always a little rough because it's that really transition to some heavy training, but we're ready to go. I mean, we want big goals tomorrow.
So we've seen, obviously, in California, there's a lot of fast, flat courses. This is a cross-country course. How excited are you to go ahead and see what the team can show on a true 5K course with some hills?
Yeah, and I actually think I think we prevail on the courses like this. I like courses. I mean, I wish there were more courses with hills and stuff. It's fun to run a Woodbridge because it's just flat and fast. That's why you do it. But as far as like people call true cross country, yeah, we like it. I mean, there could be a few more hills on this. We would love it. We're ready.
Show of hands, how many guys here are racing, if any, racing for the first time on this course? 3 guys for the very first time. Okay, for those first off, one by one, introduce yourselves, and if you have run this course before, go ahead and share what your favorite part of this course is.
I'm Lex Young. I've raced this once before at the Clovis Invitational 2019, my freshman year. My favorite part has got to be the rolling hills, kind of once you hit that, like after you come up with a mile to go, kind of with like, or it's more like with a kilometer to go, those rolling hills just like on the backside with like going up and down. I like that part. It's nice and wide, it's just fast, and that part's thrilling, I think.
I'm Leo Young. I've run this course before, and my favorite part is right before you get on the street to finish, that nice flat sort of area that's covered in leaves that brings you from about 800 to 400 to go, because it's really scenic, and I think it's at the point in the race where you get some confidence, so you actually can take a look to the side and enjoy the course while you're getting ready to really grind.
I'm Hector Martinez. I ran it twice before. My favorite part is probably like the last mile, just because you just gotta finish it out.
My name's Aaron Solomon. I haven't ran this course yet, but I really want to see what I can do.
I'm Dave Dushy, and I've never ran this course, but I'm super excited to run it for the first time.
I'm Colin Solomon. This would be my 5th time running this course, so I know it pretty well. And my favorite part is definitely that hill back at a little before 2 miles, because that's the part that gets a lot of people, and I feel like I'm super strong on that, so I like pushing up that hill.
Yeah, I'm Daniel Appleford. I've ran this course like multiple times. I think my favorite part of the course is probably just the finish, just like closing in, seeing everybody around you, like closing to the end. So yeah.
So one trait that's common with all great programs is the focus for the big meets. One thing from the outside looking in that I've noticed is you're really good at setting a goal and seemingly having focus on it for a while leading up to a big challenge. Has there been one established for this weekend, and if so, what is the goal for the boys program this weekend?
Kind of annihilate the national record in the 5K. I think we could average 1450, if not under that, tomorrow. I'm hoping we could average 1440s. They're fit. I mean, if we do it, we do it. If we don't, we don't. But their fitness is there. I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty good judge of where they're at. You know, again, we do have some people coming back in the mix that haven't, you know, we have Daniel, who is, you know, always part of our top 5, and he's coming back. He's getting really strong, so I think that's going to help. But I think our top guys and even some of our back guys are ready for some big races. Hector, but our top 4, if you want to run fast tomorrow, you're going to run fast. It's going to be a fast time with those guys up front.
So over the years at Woodward Park and at any major course, there are some good teams, there are some great teams, but what separates the great teams from the all-time greats, and this is very rare, you know, most teams have a number 1 runner, a number 2, and it's kind of like how good are your 3, 4, or 5. Very few teams over the years in the history of our sport have we had a team that has legitimately multiple true number 1 runners, where other teams cannot counter that. That's why this team is so good. How competitive is it in workouts for you guys?
I mean, it's not too competitive. We just pretty much roll through workouts together. Like we push each other. We're with each other every day. So when it comes to workouts, I mean, like I'll lead some, and like Lex and Leo, they'll lead some, and Aaron will like sometimes push the end. But we all just do workouts together. It's not competitive because we're all we know what we want to do as a team. So we go out and do it together.
In terms of the limelight, I know over at Woodbridge ended up setting a phenomenal time, taking down your brother's 3-mile quote-unquote national record. After that performance, for you individually, how much have things changed in terms of attention/distraction? I mean, how has that been in a sense? And for the team in general, because the team reached another level at Woodbridge collectively. What's changed? What's still the same? Either for you, the coach, or anyone on the team?
I think that generally, like throughout the team and stuff, we've got a lot more media attention, and maybe as far as like rankings go, like some of us, like we've been ranked a little bit higher, like individually, but I mean, there's still cases where like Colin isn't ranked super high, but like it's like on the team environment, like it's almost exactly the same because we're training together every single day,
right.
And at the end of the day, it's like we have 4 guys that could all match order on the daily basis, so I don't think anything's seriously changed at home training.
Is there anything in particular that you're looking for this weekend?
As a coach for these guys, I want them to run tough. You know, there's they have cues. They know where they need to go. They know where they need not to go. I've probably said it 100 times. We just talked about it right before we got here. You know, we've run this course this year already. We've come up here and run it. So we make sure we know this course. It's just, I think I'm expecting something big from the top guys. Something that no one's ever seen before in this course. So I think it's going to be pretty big. Course record could go down. It's going to be pretty fast tomorrow. So
either, again, as the coach or as individuals, what do you guys feel, what does anybody feel is the key thing to succeed on this course? What's the key to running Woodward?
I'd say definitely after 1K, because that's where a lot of people slow down. You know, Coach he goes over that. He's like, this is where most people slow down. It's that 2nd mile, especially after the 1K. So he tells us, you really got to push that part, because if you slow down there, then it could be a mistake. So as long as you're solid up to like the big hill, as long as you just keep grinding that, then you should run well.
That 2nd mile is going to be slow. We know it's going to be your slowest mile no matter what. If it's your fastest mile, I think you ran the course wrong. I think you need to go out fast, and you don't need to hold on, but you need to control, and you need to finish fast. So you got to go out. You got to go out a little fast. I mean, I'm not talking 4:18, but you need to go out fast. Maybe, who knows? But no, you got to go out fast. I mean, and I've looked at all the data, and I've looked and I've seen that how fast people go when they just break 15. Now I think there's a fine line. We can't go out, like you see all the guys that broke 15 minutes and they go out in 4:30. That doesn't mean we go out in 4:20, but we need to we need to push that second mile harder than they did in order to get to where we want to go and run, a bunch of guys 14:20s to 14:40s or whatever we can do. I mean, it's a hard course to run those times. I mean, the people who, the course record, 1, 2, and 3 is fast on this course. 14:24, 14:28, or whatever, 14:31, whatever they are. Those are fast times. I mean, those are legit. So, but I mean, they're obtainable for our guys, and it's still early. I mean, the state meet is going to be interesting because we're really going after the state meet this year. Like, I know we have NXN the week after that, but this is the real deal at the state meet this year. It's all in. And it's here for us too, but it's just early in the season that we still have a good 4-week training block after this where we don't race at all, where we put some really good work in, and I just think, I don't know, it'll be a good day tomorrow. Regardless, I just think it's a good test, and I hate using the term rust buster, but I want them to get used to hurting on this course,
This team, as good as it is, how often are you guys looking at what other teams are doing, whether it be in California or around the country, or is it a case of we're just focused on ourselves? What's the approach?
I think we focus on ourselves. I mean, I don't know what I always say that. I've banned myself from some websites that do the rankings. I have not looked at them because I feel bad when people and it's not a punch to another team, but everyone's like, oh, who's ranked 2 or 3? I don't know. I just stopped looking at that because I want to know. I mean, I know what we are, and it shows up on social media, so you see it, and coaches talk to you. But I think it's like we just focus on ourselves. I think that's something we've been really good at. It's like when we come here, we have a job to do. We know what we can do, and if someone gets in the way, they get in the way. Then they're better. But if they're not, we know what we have to do. I really am not. I don't want to say I'm not worried. I'm not focusing on any other teams. If someone wants to come after us, they should. And then whatever happens, happens.
When that gun goes off tomorrow, or usually in any big race, how much of the focus is on running your own race or running in groups and so forth? What's the mentality like within your team?
I think that's going to be one of the biggest factors tomorrow is working as a team, because on a course like this where the second mile is so notoriously tough, if we can play off of each other and take turns sort of taking care of the pace, I think that's what's going to make it such a good race, is because if we can work together, we'll be able to power through the hardest parts, and then we'll be able to come out at that 800 meters to go feeling good because we've all taken turns pacing it.
So at Woodbridge, we saw the national 3-mile record go down. Course record here, 14:24, was an incredible performance. But a dozen years ago, Herman Fernandez of Riverbank. Any chance that'll be threatened this weekend?
I sure hope so. I think if we all have really great days, I think all 4 of us can do it. But we'll see how it goes.
They have an advantage, I think, over Nico and over Herman. They have 4 guys that can run together through the 2-mile. He didn't have that. I mean, and I'm giving him like a lot of respect because the way when he did it in the heat later in the day by himself, I mean, that was hyped up. That was a hard way to do it. But I'm not taking anything away from what we can do tomorrow if it does go down or if it doesn't, or if it goes down at the state meet like he did it, because that's where I think we'll be really ready. But they have 4 guys that can push each other to 2.5 miles, and then it's on who can finish. So that's an advantage, I think.
Oh yeah. All right, you've heard it from the top team in America. Looks like top team all time. But tomorrow is yet another test. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Live webcast on HC Runners on the YouTube channel. The feature event, the Boys Championship Race, featuring Newbury Park High School. Thank you, guys.